In this video, we show you how to create a document with ArangoDB and PHP. In the previous video, I show you how to set it up. So let's get started. If you go to PHP, we're going to create a new file. Let's call it create-user.php, and let's just open the PHP tags. What we need to do is we need to connect to the database, and the connection is inside the ArangoDB file. So what we're going to do is we're going to require once. We are just going to point to this directory, and then we're going to say that we want the ArangoDB.php file. So this is the connection to it. This file will have a variable called ArangoDB, which points to the database. And we need to do something here. We need to actually invoke the statement from Arango statement. I'm going to show you where I get that from. If we go to this file, the ArangoDB, let me see where I have the Arango statement. Here. This line here is, or it could be used in this file. We're not using it. We could comment it out, but I will just copy it and we're just going to paste it right there. So this just allows us to create a QL, that's Arango query language statement. Once we have done that, we're going to throw a try catch. I want to show you a lot of errors or how I get to the different parts of the system, so you learn as much as possible. I'm just going to catch an exception, and in the exception for now, I will just echo EX if we have an exception. Hopefully we get to that. Let's create a statement. So we just create a variable called stmt for a statement, and this is going to be a new Arango statement. Now you know why I needed that. I will just copy and paste it. The statement itself is a function, and it takes several arguments. One of them, the first one, is the connection to the database. And in the ArangoDB file, the last line is the connection to it. So we can copy that variable and place it there. So we are connected now and we're pointing to it. The second argument is an array. It's an associative array. And the key is called query. And the value is the query that we want to execute. So we can just say insert, then we pass a JSON object. This is not really an object, this is just text that looks like a JSON object. So we pass it, we say the name is going to be the letter A, that's the document that we want to save, and where we want to save it, we're going to save it inside users. This users is the collection name. So let's look at the browser, and now we're going to go to our database, and we don't have a collection. Make sure that you're in the collections tab. Let's add a collection. Let's give it a name, users. It's going to be a document collection. If you click here, you can say that this is going to be a graph database, but for now we're playing with document databases, and then we just save it. Now we have the users collection created. We continue. If you don't create the collection, you're going to get an error because you have to have a collection in order to insert data into it. And I don't want to trigger that error because I can just imagine that the first thing you do is you create your collections. So now we have inserted into users, that will be the query. Now we just need to execute it. So we are going to create a cursor. The cursor is just pointing to the response from the database, and this is going to be the statement that we're going to execute. So we're going to execute the query actually. Execute. So we execute the query, and then we have a few options that we can trigger. We can say var done, and what I want to show you is that we can point to the cursor, and then we can do a get all, for example. That's the function that we can run to see what the database return, and save it. Let's do semicolon there, and let's test it. Now we're going to go to Postman. I coded too much. I should have tested a little bit before I'm going to say localhost / createuser.php. Send the data. This is what the var DOM is telling us. It says array 0. It doesn't give us a lot of info. Let's go to the collection users, but we do have the collection called name, and we have the key. The key is auto-generated. Don't touch it, leave it there. So now that you have seen this, what it's the most important thing for us is that the database give us the key as the return value, so we can actually pass the key to the browser and do stuff with it. So we can delete the user, update the user, and so on. To get the key, we need to do the following. Let's go to VS Code again, check there. We can also just call a new function. There are basically two functions, get all and get extra. I'll just show you what get extra does. Save it, Postman, send the request. Get extra gives us a little bit of extra information, and if you analyze it carefully, you can see that you have a lot of different data. Writes executed was 1. We did not ignore any writes, and so on. So this is a lot of data we get out of it. Now, that's not what we want. We want to get the ID of the user. So to do that, we're going to do this. We're going to go to VS Code, and we are going to do the get all. But now we're not going to do get all with var DOM. Let's do it with print r to see if that gives us some data. Save and run it. Still nothing. But if we look at the page, we should have now more documents created. Let's go back to Postman and VS Code there. So in order for us to get some data out, and please, all of you, keep in mind that I'm trying to teach you here how I get to different stuff. That's why I don't give you the answer right away. This channel is for teaching. So what you have to do here is we're going to create a variable. We can create any variable you want. You can name it however you want. I will call it inserted user because that's what we just created. And this inserted user is going to be a new return inserted user. I will explain this in a second. So with this command, I'm just creating a variable, and this variable will contain whatever the inserted user gives us back. So we will return, we're asking the database to return the new inserted user. Now that we have the new inserted user, let's try it. Save it, Postman. Now you can see that we get some data out. We get ID, we get the key. I will make more videos about ArangoDB, so go ahead and subscribe so I can explain every single thing that you see here. Right now, I'm building the API. So this is what we need, the key 891. Let's go to VS Code. And to get the key, if you carefully analyze the array, you have different positions of the array, and then you have key value pairs inside the array. It is an associative array. So to get the key, what I will do is I will say cursor get all, and I know looking at the data from Postman that I want whatever is in position 0, and then I want the key. What I will do is I will just create a JSON object. I will just call it user, and the user equals, and then I will JSON decode whatever I get inside the array in position 0. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this array of position 0, and then I'm just converting all this into an object, so I can point to the key of the object. So once I have the user object, I want to get the key out of it. So let me just say key equals, and then this is an object. So I would say user pointing to underscore key. Now the underscore, I know it's there because I can read it from here, underscore key. And this is what I want to send back to Postman. let's try to make this a little bit professional. So what I will do is I will set the headers. I will send the content type to be application/JSON. So I am telling the browser, the client, that they will be getting JSON. Let's set the status code, HTTP response code, and then I will set it to 200. And now I'm going to just echo a string that looks like JSON. And then I will just send a message here. Message user created. And obviously I want to pass the ID of the user. So the ID will be, and in here we'll pass the ID. So we just concatenate. And then I will pass the key, which is the ID. Actually, I will just name this to key, because in ArangoDB, the keys are the unique identifiers. So let's see if this works. Save it. Send it. Now we have the user created, the key is 980. Let's do a new test. I will just call this B, that will be the unique and only B that I have in the system. The ID will be 987. Let's check it. B is 987. Done. That is how we create a document with ArangoDB. It is quite simple. Now, I know that you're thinking, how do I replace the B with the value coming from Postman? I have saved this for the next video in which we're going to actually delete or update a user, so you can see how I play with variables. Okay, in the next video, this was the crate. We are going to read. So for the next video, we read from the collection.